Minnesota's already qualified for a bowl. Meanwhile, Wisconsin is trying to qualify for a bowl. Gavin Lom is set to kick it off. Parrish, the dynamic freshman, is back deep to receive. So here we go. The 134th meeting between Wisconsin and Minnesota is underway. And Parrish will come up and take it at the goal line. He's got good speed into the open field, and he's stopped up at the 20-yard line. Some shifting, the two tight ends on the right and left side of the offensive line. On first down from the 20-yard line. And in motion, they give it off to Taylor, and Taylor's going to run to his right, and Taylor moves the pile up to the 23. It'll be second down and 7. They don't have a lot of big plays, Minnesota that is. Empty backfield, trips to the bottom. Brosmer to throw, zips it to the right, pass is complete and short. Daniel Jackson, the intended receiver, up to the 26-yard line. Minnesota last week 5 of 12 on third down. They're 46% for the year, which is among the best in the Big Ten. Third down and 4. That's Taylor in the backfield. Brosmer has time. Brosmer, middle of the field, passes incomplete, broken up. Jackson had it, but he was nailed by Tackett Curtis. It'll be fourth down. Vinny Anthony back deep to receive. Anthony, 5 punt returns so far this year. Mark Crawford is the punter, and he does all these different things with the football when he lets it go, and it's going to roll to about the 32-yard line. Originally from Mississippi State, where he was recruited by the late Mike Leach. Off the play fake to Walker, he dumps it off underneath and up to the 37-yard line. It's a gain of 5. That's Anthony for the first time. Only 11 sacks allowed so far this year by Wisconsin, as Walker gets a couple yards up to the 39-yard line before he's wrapped up and taken down. Remember last week, Minnesota held Penn State to 1 for 11 on third down. And in motion into the backfield. Lock to throw, zips it incomplete. It was intended on the near side for Green, and a flag comes in. So it's going to be a penalty against Minnesota, which PJ Fleck can't believe. Justin Wally was the one who got there early.
Pass interference. Defense, number 5. The ball he places in the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
Opening possession for Wisconsin. They average 24 points per game. Lock off the play fake. Ball is tipped in and incomplete. That could have been dangerous. It looked like it was tipped at the line. Parrish was the one who was in the face. On second down, off the play fake again. Pass is complete. Bryson Green, he's shy of the first down. There is a flag on the far side of the field.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Kekahuna checks in for the first time for Wisconsin. It'll be second down and 15. Out of the gun, Lock to throw again. And Lock's pass to Kekahuna is complete above the 45. Parrish in on the coverage. He's the guy that had 143 yards last year against LSU in that bowl game. He's such a weapon. On third down, Lock has the ball deflected, and it's incomplete. So that's 2 deflections already in this first quarter. Parrish back deep to receive. Bertram's left-footed punter. He tries to directional kick all the time, and Parrish is going to be wrapped up and taken down. Excellent special teams by the Badgers. Marcus Major is in the backfield. They'll give it to Major. And Major trying to get to the edge, and he's wrapped up after a gain of 2. On second down and 8. Tight end in motion. Brosmer quick drop, dumps it off underneath to Major, and Major makes a man miss. And gets up to the 16-yard line. It'll be third down and about 2. Darius Taylor checks back in, and he is such a weapon as a receiver out of the backfield. Brockington comes in motion.
There's the pre-snap movement getting to Tell. They're in man.
Gears comes over and helps out. They give it off to Taylor. Taylor looking. Taylor's trying to find something. He didn't get it. He's a yard or so shy of the first down. Hunter Wohler makes such a difference, sort of closing things up. Darrell Peterson was there as well.
Well, great job by Mike Tressel's defense, setting the edge, forcing it back inside. Brosmer thought he had numbers and liked the look to run the ball there on 3rd and 2, but for a team that gives up 163 yards rushing, 4.6 per rush. A really good start for this Wisconsin defense.
And Wisconsin should get good field position here. Vinny Anthony is standing inside his 45-yard line as Crawford is back at his goal line.
They're punting into the wind here.
There's a line drive punt that bounces at the 46 and rolls out of bounds at the 44-yard line. First down. See that note at the bottom for Wisconsin, trying to get bowl eligible for 23 straight years. They give it off to Walker, who pounds his way to the 45, maybe the 46-yard line before he stood up and knocked back. Locke has it swatted away. It's incomplete. That's the third deflection. I think that's the first one with the hands. Corey Heatherman, his first year, comes over from Rutgers after 2 years with Greg Schiano. Was also at James Madison. Locke trying to get it all on third down. It's incomplete. Bertram's on to punt the ball away. Remember, Minnesota blocked the punt last week against Penn State. Parrish called for the fair catch right around the 12-yard line. Bunch formation at the top of your screen. Tight end in motion. Brosmer has time in the pocket, throws to the right. Pass is complete to the right. And he just found a little opening in that seam for Brockington. And a first down up to the 21-yard line. Brosmer gives it to Taylor. Taylor to his left. Taylor's got room. And Taylor's up across the 30 to the 33-yard line. So they still run left, which is his favorite spot.
Yeah, and Leon Lowry, number 8 for Wisconsin. Watch him come through. Just slides in. He's got an opportunity right there. Just couldn't get off the block quick enough to make the play. His team averages 6 yards a carry going to the left, only just about 4 going to the right. So you can see how much more advantageous it is to go to the left. But when you got a guy like Ursery over there, he's so big and so dynamic and so powerful.
After a 12-yard gain on first down, they go back to Taylor, and Taylor gets a few more up to the 38-yard line. Ears comes in motion. It'll be second down and 5. Major checks in the backfield. Brosmer lofts it to the near side, and pass is caught. And then some. Daniel Jackson. How about what he did at the end of that play to get 5 more yards?
I mean, that was an unbelievable catch. So watch this ball coming over his shoulder. Willie Mays style makes the grab. A nice throw by Brosmer, but a better catch by Jackson. And then the wherewithal to continue upfield.
Gain of 37 yards. They're inside Wisconsin's own end. Ball is batted at the line of scrimmage. Jackson comes in motion. Brosmer looks to his right, has Jackson. And Jackson is wrapped up, taken down. He does get positive yards. Hallman in on the coverage and the tackle. That long pass, he moved past the senior, Tutu Atwell.
He's at the top of your screen, one-on-one.
Brockington is the bottom of your screen. He's 0. Brosmer looks left, throws to the right. Pass is caught. A leaping grab by Elijah Spencer, who gets down close to the 2-yard line. Brosmer now 6 of 8 on the afternoon. Taylor checks into the backfield. Brosmer's going to keep it himself. He lowers his shoulder and he gets down inside the 1-yard line. His teammates are saying he's in, but he's just short. And now this is what they did earlier this season. Yeah, a little tush-push action. And he's being shoved to the goal line. A flag comes in on both sides, and no signal whether he got it in. And they're going to say that he's short of the goal line, but again, there's a penalty flag on each side of the field. Now they say touchdown, Minnesota, but let's see who the penalty is against.
Offside. Defense. That penalty decline. Result of the play is touchdown.
So Brosmer gets the rushing touchdown with a little help from his friends. 6-0 Minnesota. Here's the point after by Kesich. 9 plays, 89 yards. Not a great snap, but the kick is good. 7-0 Minnesota. This kickoff will be taken right at the goal line by Anthony. And Anthony's got some room up across the 20. And he lowers his shoulder to the 28-yard line. Dupree with his first run of the day, and he stays on his feet and he gets up to the 40, although I think the official might think he's down at the 36. Let's see where they mark it. Nope, they're going to say he did stay up.
Minnesota on its heels and try to let your offensive line take over.
Well, it's a gain of 12 yards. They may review this because his knee looks like it is down there.
There you go. You can see it is down. You had it called right away, Tom.
After an expedited review, the runner's knee was down at the 35-yard line. It'll be second down.
Parrish makes the tackle from behind on Dupree. Now a third down and 1. They work it from the gun, which they always do, and Dupree looks like he got forward to the 39, so it is a first down. Nowakowski, the tight end, goes in motion. They give it back to Dupree. He's hitting the backfield. That slows him up, and he's taken down for a loss on the play. Second down and 12. Under a minute to play in the first quarter. Locke to throw for the first time in this series, and he's wrapped up and taken down. Strigo, the outstanding defensive lineman from Long Lake, Minnesota, made the tackle.
Braden Locke has to get rid of this ball. He had an opportunity to throw it to his slot to his right. He doesn't throw it, and he gets the sack. Up top, it was covered. Down below, though, the slot was standing there wide open. Braden Locke never got his eyes there, and then he takes the sack.
So it's a loss of 4 yards. It's 3rd and 16. Strigo picks up his 4th sack of the year. Locke has time out of the backfield. They're not going to get a lot out of this one. Although Walker's able to stay on his feet before he's knocked out of bounds. On 4th down, Wisconsin will punt the ball away. Parrish back deep to receive. The wind knocks this down. Parrish lost it out of bounds. Well, he's fortunate that it went sideways and didn't go all the way back. Taylor in the backfield, Brosmer, who will work from the gun a lot, but also works under center. Traditional handoff to Taylor. You heard PJ Flex say we have to run the football, and Taylor gets up to the 30-yard line. They give it to Taylor again, still running left. He's shy of the first down, taken down from behind about a yard away. Yeah, 3rd down, less than a yard. They're going to hand the ball off, but they're going to hand it off to Marcus Major, and Major gets to the outside. He's got a blocker ahead of him. He's along the sidelines, and he's tripped up inside the 20-yard line. Who says that all you can do is tush-push in that formation? PJ Flex said they had to run the football a little bit more. He told Tiffany that. They certainly have done that, particularly on this drive. Brosmer, though, will throw on 1st down. He's throwing toward the end zone, and it is incomplete. Intended for Jackson. That was decent coverage.
Well, the ball was on the left hash. They had no one on the right side of the field, and they bring Daniel Jackson in motion and try to get him one-on-one and try to run a double move, and it was that close to being a touchdown. Pretty good coverage there. And Brosmer puts it where only Jackson could get it. I like the concept, though, because you had that entire side of the field to work with.
Yeah, Hallman was the guy on coverage who doesn't get a lot of action anymore. In fact, his coaches say he gets a little bored every once in a while. Off the play fake, the pass is complete. They throw it to the left for Elijah Spencer, and Spencer has the 1st down to the 13-yard line. Jackson comes in motion. They give it to him on a jet sweep, and he turns up. And he's tripped up by Hunter Wohler. 2 tight ends on the left side of the offensive line. Gears and Callerup. In motion comes Jackson. Brosmer looks toward Jackson, throws toward Jackson. Caught right near the pylon. Touchdown, Minnesota. He stepped in front of Zachman for the reception.
Watch Jackman step on his toes, and what I mean by that is he's going to run right at the DB and make him think he's going deeper, and then he's going to break the route off. So here he is. I'm going to go at your toes. Boom. I'm going to put my foot in the ground, and the ball is perfectly on time. If Brosmer is late with that ball at all, it's not terrible coverage, but because it's so quick and on time, there's no time for that defense to react. A really good play, again, for quarterback and receiver.
So it's 13-0 Minnesota with 11:37 to play here in the first half. And now the point after by Kesich. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is right through the middle. It's 14-0 Golden Gophers. (14-0 Minnesota. Anthony back deep to receive this kickoff. He'll take it inside the 5-yard line, middle of the field. He's got some blockers. They're trying to give Wisconsin good field position up to the 25-yard line. 21 yards off the kickoff return. Block off the play fake. He's being pursued. He'll throw on the run. He'll overthrow his intended receiver. Not much was there. He tried to find Nowakowski, the tight ends, but he was everybody was just covered up. Lock to the outside. Pass is complete to the outside. Kekahuna. And he gets to the 28-yard line. Kerry Brown made the tackle.
You got trips way outside to the left. So you should have room in the middle of that field. Single high safety, drop into cover 2.
Kekahona came in motion. He's wide open. He's got it across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Locke did a really nice job of reading that and finding him sitting in the zone.
Yeah, it was a good play design. By spreading them out, they have the opportunity to go into the middle, and then Braden Locke did a really good job of just getting rid of that ball, seeing it, throwing it with accuracy, and a nice completion.
They huddled up again. That's one of the changes they've made a couple weeks ago, was huddling up a little bit more. A first down, little shovel toss to Walker, and not much there for Walker. Locke's in trouble. He gets away, falls down. Justin Wally will be credited with the sack.
Watch him coming right off the edge. They got 4 inside. They bring Wally off the edge. They're not able to pick it up, and Wally gets home. And this has just been such a struggle for this Wisconsin offense. You kind of felt they were going to come out and be able to run the ball. They haven't been able to run the ball. And for Nate Letton and his whole staff, they got to find a way to try to move the ball and get this offense moving forward. 3rd and 20 is not the way you're going to do it.
Loss of 10 on the play. They need to get inside Minnesota territory for a first down at the 48-yard line. Locked to the middle of the field. Ball's deflected, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Nowakowski, the tight ends. It was broken up by Coleman Bryson. Minnesota will get it back now off this punt. Parrish is back deep to receive. He called for the fair catch. Here Minnesota's up 14-0. They've scored on their last 2 possessions. Brosmer so far today is 8 of 11 for 100 yards. He's got time, throws to his left, pass is complete to his left for Spencer. It's been Spencer and Jackson who have carried the bulk of the offense in the air. Said he decided to go to Minnesota. It's kind of a small place for him, and compared to New Hampshire, which he liked. He loved the lake life this past summer. It'll be first down. Brosmer dancing in the pocket, just plenty of time, just so much time. He's directing traffic. Now he'll keep it himself. He'll just get 2 yards before he's out of bounds. Callerup was in motion, the tight end, helping out on the left side of that offensive line. They give it to Taylor. Taylor getting to the edge, and Taylor is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Comparison between the 2 quarterbacks. Brosmer's gotten the upper hands.
Daniel Jackson has been his guy, Tom, that he's looked to.
He's looking that way. Pressure's coming. He's wrapped up. He's taken down. A big-time sack for Elijah Hills, the senior, who transferred in from Albany. He's from Rockaway, New Jersey.
Watch the, you can't see it here, but they run a twist, and Hills comes back across. There he is, getting free on the twist. Got a little bit of the face mask there, but stayed with it, and just an enormous stop for this Wisconsin defense. We talked about it prior to that series, how important it was for Wisconsin to get a stop, at 14-0 because Minnesota could have taken advantage and really taken control of this game.
That's his third sack of the year. Anthony mishandles the punt, but gets his bearings. Now can he get to the edge? He's trying to. Flags come in. There's going to be an illegal block on Wisconsin.
During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block. Receiving team, number 84. Half the distance to goal from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
With 5:54 to play here in the first half, it's 14-0 Minnesota. Walker. And Walker up to the 10-yard line, actually the 9. All right, let's ask Gene about it. Gene, what did you see on this play?
Yeah, I agree with Jay on the technique, Tommy. What you've got to look at, though, is when 84 is initiating. If the contact occurs and his opponent does not visually see him, then that may rise to a blindside block. In this case, he's kind of got to get in front of him so that defender can see him before he does that box out shield. I think that's right where that mesh point was happening. It went with the blindside on it.
That ball was supposed to be snapped to Locke, but instead it was snapped to Walker, and Walker's got nothing there. It was a botched play from the get-go. Thank you, Gene. We appreciate that very much. 2 for 6 on third down. He's looking long to the far side of the field. He overthrows his intended receiver. Kekahuna was the intended receiver while he was in on the coverage. Minnesota has 2 timeouts left, and it is plenty of time. 4:37 to play here in the first half. Bertram's on to punt the ball away. He's been busy already. This will be his 5th punt of this first half. Gets this one off. Still going to be decent field position for Minnesota. Parrish will be pushed back. They'll give him forward progress. First down. They give the ball off to Taylor. And Taylor up close to midfield.
I hated it when you had the BCS and you had 2 teams and you were picking the teams that were going to be in the championship. And I always wanted, like, just settled on the field. Go out there, have a bracket, put the best teams in, and then settled on the field. That's what we got. I can't wait to watch.
And of course, there still will be gripes about Team A not making it or Team B not making it, but it's a little more clear cut at this point.
I think, but everybody has the opportunity at the beginning of the season to get into that bracket.
Second down and a little more than 4. Caller up comes in motion. They've been lining the tight end, an extra tight end to the left side of that offensive line to give Taylor a chance to run that way. Flags come in. Taylor's going to have the first down, but it all depends on what happened in the backfield.
I think, Tom, it's really astute of you. They've been lining that tight end over there as well ever since Ursary went out.
Offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. It's still second down.
Yeah, so caller up is called for that penalty. Taylor comes in motion into the backfield on second down. Second down and long. Here comes the pressure from Wisconsin. Brosmer spinning around. He's being chased by Wohler. He throws on the run. He's just throwing it away. It's incomplete.
This is where this Wisconsin defense has to make a play. They need a turnover desperately. If you're Mike Tressel, the defensive coordinator, now is the time to dial up pressure and try to force Brosmer into a mistake. Change the picture post-snap.
Philip Daniels moved on the right side.
False start. Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. It's still third down.
Well, that's what they do. They draw it to Taylor, and Taylor is met right at the line of scrimmage. Darrell Peterson made the tackle, so it'll be 4th down. Crawford on the punt. Anthony back deep to receive. This will be his 4th punt of the day. Gets this one off. Again, he's kicking with the wind as the ball takes a Wisconsin bounce. It may have hit somebody's foot. Minnesota falls on top of it. And the officials are going to say that it is Wisconsin football.
Well, it was close. It was checked
close.
back, so it was coming backwards. And so when you're blocking, you don't know, oh, is it so close to hitting his foot?
First down with 2:26 to play in the first half. Dupree in the backfield. And Dupree is chased down from behind. Wally came from the outside to initiate the stop. He got 2 out of it, though.
There's Benny Anthony at the bottom of the screen.
C.J. Williams is at the top of your screen for Wisconsin. Nope, they just hand the ball off. And Dupree. Kekahuna goes in motion. Dupree is in the backfield. Third down and 5. Locke throws to his left, overthrows his intended receiver, Anthony. He came out of his break, and the ball was way over his head. Bryan was in on the coverage for Minnesota, and you can hear the boos at Camp Randall. They've already equaled the most punts in a game this year, and we're not even done with the first half. With a 1:07 left to play. Got some pushing and shoving going on. Flags came flying in.
You are going to see that in a rivalry game.
Absolutely.
After play, unsportsmanlike conduct foul. Kicking team player number 0. 15-yard penalty. It's first down.
Well, that's John Pius, who's an outside linebacker, redshirt senior for Wisconsin, who's called for the penalty. Two receivers stacked up top. Taylor in motion in the backfield. They give it off to Taylor. They do conservative run play here, and he gets out toward midfield. That'll take us under a minute to play. It's a gain of 5. Brosmer back deep to receive. Pressure's coming from the backside. He's hit as he throws, and it's nearly intercepted. Third down and 5. Clock stop. 40 seconds to play. Brosmer middle of the field, deflected, incomplete. It was intended for Gears, his tight ends. And it'll be 4th down. And Crawford trying to kick it away from Anthony, who will take it on a bounce. And then he fumbles the football and falls on top of it. Cold day. Football is a little slick. And the fans here at Camp Randall aren't going to be happy about the fact that Wisconsin just takes the knee, but they don't want anything terrible to happen going into the halftime locker room.
I don't blame Luke Fickell one bit. You've done nothing on offense. You're backed way up. Let's go to halftime. Let's reset. Let's talk about it and try to come out and be a little more effective in the second half.
Wisconsin will receive the football to begin the second half. And you saw the reaction from the Minnesota fans, how happy they were, because they had a lot of good things that happened in this first half. All right, so Wisconsin will get the football to begin the second half, as Minnesota will kick it off. This is actually a pretty decent kickoff. Anthony will take it a yard deep. He's going to come out, and Anthony comes across the 15 to the 20, and he's spun down at the 25-yard line. Braden Locke in the first half, 5 for 13, 37 yards. Off the play fake, he'll throw, and he zips one right past his intended receiver. Walker in the backfield, Locke to throw, pass is complete. And it's Seagreaves, one of the tight ends. And here's third down. And Locke is looking for it all. He's looking for the outside. He's got a man, incomplete. Ethan Robinson was in on the coverage, but that was just a drop pass. It was laid in perfectly. That's winning one-on-one defensively. Parrish back deep to receive. He's assessing, calls for the fair catch. And they'll spot Minnesota at the 17-yard line. First down, Brosmer to throw on first down. Pass is caught, but he's out of bounds, I believe.
After review, the receiver possessed the ball with his right foot in bounds. The ruling in the field has changed to a completed pass. It's second down at the 25-yard line.
That's Taylor in motion into the backfield. He's been doing that a lot today. Jackson is at the bottom of your screen. They give it to Taylor, and Taylor's met and then moves the pile forward. I don't think he was able to get more than a yard, if anything. In fact, they say no gain. Yep.
It's going to be third down, and huge opportunity for this Wisconsin defense.
Third down and 2. Brosmer has time. Pressure's coming from the backside. His pass is caught. It's again Jackson, and he's got a first down. First down, Taylor. And Taylor gets up close to the 35-yard line. Gain of 4. Second down at 6. Taylor again. And Taylor gets maybe a yard to the 35-yard line. Mike Tressel told us that he wanted to pressure a little bit more. Are they pressuring enough, you think?
No, they got to get after Brosmer. He gets rid of the ball so quick that's what makes it difficult. If you blitz and you don't get home, then he has opportunities down the field.
Tight ends in motion on third down. 3 for 8 today on third down conversions. Brosmer out of the backfield, and he's able to dump it off to Taylor, and Taylor dives forward. He's got a first down. On first down, Brosmer middle of the field. Pass is complete to Brockington, and Brockington gains 8. Brosmer adjusts the play to Taylor up the middle. And Taylor inside Wisconsin territory. I think there may have been a face mask as well.
PJ Fleck thought there was a face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic, first down.
You know, Kurt Neal is called for the penalty. He checked out after that face mask. I think it did something to his arm as Taylor was able to run away. Trips to the top of your screen for Minnesota. Brosmer looking left the whole time. Taylor out of the backfield. His man slipped down. It was Wohler who slipped down, so it enabled him to make that catch and then get inside the 25-yard line to the 23. 13 plays for Minnesota inside Wisconsin territory. None for Wisconsin. They kill the initial play. They give it to Taylor. Taylor lowers his shoulder. 75 total yards. Jackson's in motion. Brosmer throws to his left toward the end zone. Leaping catch made. Gears the tight end. 20-0 Golden Gophers. And Allegro could not recover to come back and knock that ball away. Here's the point after to make it 21-0. And it is good. It's 21-zip. He's up 21-0. That ball is going to spin out of bounds inside the 15, so flags will come in.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team number 99. The ball he placed at the 35-yard line. It's first down.
Wisconsin has changed up their offensive line. Joe Huber has moved from his guard position to center. Renfro is out at center. They give the ball off to Walker, and Walker keeps his bearings. Gets up to the 39-yard line. And you saw Ben Shaw. He's moved into the right guard position. You can't miss him. He's 6'6". Locke going for it all to the left. Incomplete. There was a traffic jam of defenders out there. C.J. Williams was the intended receiver. Yeah, he warmed up today. He had his uniform on. It looked like he was going to be a go. They dumped the ball off to the left to Williams, and Williams has a first down. It's only the 4th of the game, and the reaction to the crowd.
I'm with you, Wisconsin fans. Let's go. Let's get some offense in this game.
You don't think these fans are in tune of what's going on? So give it to Dupree. And Dupree stumbles forward. He was able to get a couple of yards. He was hit by Kerry Brown in the backfield.
You have to take some shots deep to back this secondary up.
On 2nd and 9, middle of the field. What a catch. It's another first down at the 40-yard line. Kekahuna, and it's the first time they've been in Minnesota territory today. It's a gain of 12.
Well, Kekahuna playing for Will Pauling because he wasn't in there, and that's the position that I think they can have success with. He had such a big game against Purdue with 6 receptions, over 100 yards, and then you haven't seen a whole lot of him the rest of the year.
First down to the 40-yard line off the play fake. Locke looking to throw. He's looking for the end zone. He lofts it to the middle of the field for Green, and it's incomplete. Broken up by Coleman Bryson, the redshirt sophomore. And movement from the offensive line.
Well, Tiffany talked about the changes on that offensive line, changing at center, and then you have a new guard, and then you have a penalty.
False start. Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Remember last week when they had the change on their offensive coaching staff, they only had 1 false start penalty. Walker trying to get to the outside. Walker, nothing to his left, cuts back to his right, spun around, and the man who made the initial hit makes the tackle, Ethan Robinson. It'll be third down. 11 rushing yards today for the Wisconsin Badgers. Jay just talked about how good they are in the season. They're 7th in the Big Ten in rushing yards per game. Locke gives it off to Walker, and Walker's just barely going to get back to the line of scrimmage. That should be a flag. And here it comes. It came in late. Yep.
What a bad decision there.
After the play, personal foul, late hit. Defense, number 19. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
Yeah, Gerlach is going to be called for that penalty.
It's right here. Right there. He's in the white, clearly out of bounds, and Gerlach comes in. It's just a boneheaded play.
Right.
Not a smart play at all. You have the stop. You're going to get off the field, or Wisconsin's going to go for it on a long fourth down, and now you give him a first down.
Well, he immediately ran off the field. He knew. So first down at the 30-yard line. Clock winds, under 4:40 to play here in the third quarter.
It's in zone.
Kahuna came in motion. Locke has time. Locke throws to his right. Pass is complete to his right. Seagreaves. You got to make everybody feel a little bit more at ease and feel like you have a chance in the fourth quarter. It's a beautifully executed play to find Vinny Anthony. First red zone appearance of the day. It was a gain of 9. Be first down for the 15-yard line. Kahuna goes in motion. Locke to throw again. Locke toward the end zone. Locke has a man. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Vinny Anthony, his 4th score of the year. Vakos is on for the point after. He hasn't had any action today, but he is through. Wisconsin has a little bit of life. They're building him up here, building him up, Buttercup, as Minnesota will get the football back. Parrish on the return. Parrish has a blocker, stumbles into the open field and gets up to the 34-yard line. I actually think if he didn't stumble the second time, he may have gotten free. Those were 15 completions, gives it to Taylor. Taylor breaks a couple of tackles. He gets to the edge and he's shoved out of bounds. He's inside Wisconsin territory. Wohler laid a hit on him to knock him out. Under 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Yards per play. Look at the domination by Minnesota's offense. Brosmer, he's hit as he throws, and it's caught on the near sideline by Brockington. All right, so a gain of 16, a gain of 14. It'll be first down from the 36. Taylor again. Taylor lowers his shoulder down to the 33-yard line. Minnesota said they wanted balance. They certainly have gotten balance here today. To the 31-yard line, a gain of 2. It'll be third down. Darrell Peterson, who's been busy in the second half, made the tackle. Kessich's season long is 53. But you're right, into the wind, as you said, after you came up from downstairs. Ball is deflected at the line of scrimmage, intended for Brockington. It'll be fourth down. The reigning Big Ten kicker of the year from the near hash mark. It's a good snap, good hole. Kick is on its way. It's not going to be good. Off to the left. Well, Locke, who's 7 for 11 in the second half, to throw on first down. A flag comes in. Actually, a couple of flags come in.
Holding. Defense, number 3. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
So a first down up to the 41-yard line. 47 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Bad snap handled by Locke. He hands the ball off to Walker. And he may have gotten 1 yard on that one, and that's it. It was second down and 9. Waning seconds of the third quarter. Locke dancing in the pocket, middle of the field. Pass is complete to the middle of the field. It's Anthony. And Anthony's got a first down to the 48-yard line, excuse me. And that'll be the final play of this third quarter. First down. We begin the fourth quarter. They give it off to Walker. On second down and 8. Here's Locke. Locke's had a better second half. Locke lofts it to the near side. He's got a man. It's caught. Another first down. Kahuna. Walker's got blockers. And Walker spins inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Parrish made the tackle.
9 attempts for 14 yards before that carry.
Now they'll run it again to Walker. This time he tries left, and he's down to the 10-yard line, so it's a gain of nearly 5. Anthony's in motion. They fake to him. Locke throws it to Iacomelli. There was a lot on that throw. Now, it was catchable, but there was a lot on that throw. They're shifting the receivers around. Green is at the bottom of your screen. Anthony at the top. Iacomelli in motion. Locke, pressure's coming. Locke avoids it. Flags come in. They're going to get holding on Wisconsin.
Holding. Offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's still 3rd down.
You try to pick up about half the yardage here, Tom.
Walker back into the backfield. High snap handled by Locke. Locke steps up. Locke zips it, and it's nearly intercepted. It was broken up by Kerry Brown. It was intended for Vinny Anthony. This will be 38 yards.
Struggled last week against Nebraska. 1 for 3 in his last game. That can linger in your mind.
They officially now say 37 yards for Vacos. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, and it is no good. It had the length, but it's off to the right. On first down, Brosmer off the play fake. Brosmer to the middle of the field. It's deflected and nearly completes.
Here's Brosmer altering the play.
Yeah, handing the ball off to Taylor. And Taylor didn't get much up to the 24. And on 3rd down, pressure's coming, throws to the middle, diving catch made. Elijah Spencer's got a first down. And back to Taylor. Sometimes I don't know how that RPO works like that. I mean, that was so late for Taylor to get it.
You're reading that outside edge player.
Difference of about 100 yards on the ground for the two teams. And he changes the play, finds Taylor, who goes right into the arms of Kurt Neal. Third down and 6. Brosmer lifts it long, and it is dropped off the fingertips of his intended receiver. It was Brockington. So now Minnesota will have to punt. Anthony is back deep to receive this punt. Oh man, that's a helicopter.
It's okay though. It gets on the ground and rolls. It's the kind of punt that you can do in college and get away with.
And now with 8:58 to play here in the 4th quarter, 21-7. Let's see if Wisconsin has one last breath. And not much doing there.
If they do, I think it just got knocked out of them there.
Minnesota only allows 302 yards of total offense per game. 12th best in the country. Today they've allowed 152 yards. And Locke is going long, middle of the field, and it is incomplete, nearly intercepted. It was intended for Vinny Anthony. He was the 25th ranked cornerback in the portal. He found a home at Minnesota. Locke, and it's nearly intercepted. Oh man, that would have been a backbreaker. Parrish back deep to receive. He stands at his 43. Little stiff arm, doesn't really free him up though. He's stopped right at the 40-yard line. Well, the axe has made its way to the sidelines. It's on Wisconsin's side of the field because they won it last year. This is such an evenly played series as they give it to Taylor on first down. 10-0 lead to start that ball game. You saw 7 games this year decided by 1 score, 3 and 4 in those games. Taylor trying to get a first down and stay in bounds, and he does have a first down to the 42-yard line. He's over 100 yards. He's had a fantastic day. It's a gain of 16 to give him 109. 4th game this year with 100 yards or more, 8th in his career already. And he'll go again. And not much is there. There's Taylor again. I mentioned 43 yards per game on average the last 2. Brosmer hands the ball off to Taylor, and he's got the first down. And that'll move it inside the 30-yard line. He also embraced this rivalry. Of course, he had rivalries when he was playing for New Hampshire, but probably not at this level with the crowds and everything here. They go back to Taylor. Taylor down to the 25. He's remarkable. You know, he's also a musician. He plays the guitar. He wrote a song during the pandemic, an ode to Jack Daniels, which you can find on YouTube, which is an amazing song. It's 3rd down and 7 with 3:31 to play. Wisconsin just called the timeout. This whole drive has been on the ground. Taylor comes in motion into the backfield. They give it to Taylor. And Taylor is wrapped up by Pius and dropped at the 25-yard line. It'll be 4th down. This will be a 43-yard field goal attempt. This is the better end of the field. High snap. The hold is good. Kick is on the way, and it really is the better end of the field. It's 24-7. Tyler Van Dyke's injury, he won't be ready for the start of next year. That ball's deflected out of bounds. There have been several deflected passes today. It was a better second half for Locke than first half. High snap. They hand the ball off to Walker. And Walker just gets a couple. And movement, I believe, on the right side of the Wisconsin offensive line.
False start. Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Locked to the far side. It's deflected and caught. Well, great concentration by Kekahuna. They give it to Walker, and Walker runs into a crowd. He's not going to get it. An exclamation point for the Minnesota defense, which has played so well today. 1st down, Brosmer. Taylor in the backfield, trying to run off the last 2 minutes. They give it to Taylor. And Taylor gets down to the 31. Wisconsin can stop the clock one more time if they choose to. 1:20 and counting to play. Taylor again. Might as well let him finish it off. Gets a couple yards down to the 29-yard line. 3rd down. Taylor again. Little stiff arm. He's got a 1st down and more, and he'll slide down smartly inside the 20-yard line. And that'll do it. Here it comes. Paul Bunyan's axe will return to Minnesota as they have knocked off the Badgers 24-7. What pageantry with Paul Bunyan's axe being the prize.
It's what you love about college football.